Welcome to Colorful Anime, where we talk about anime from a colorful perspective. I'm with my really good homies. I'm gonna start this way. I'm going with Jordan.
I'm Jordan.
We got Kris.
Hi.
And we got Hakim.
Yo. Do we like talk to the camera now?
I mean, y'all have to. Like, they're not here. The way I look at it is like you're just the person in the room that's just happened to be here while we're talking about what we're talking about.
Okay.
But again, yeah, welcome. So happy to be here with y'all. Like, we're like we have a group text going like for the past 2 weeks about nonstop anime stuff, and so it's cool to finally actually be in the space talking nonstop anime stuff. But yeah, thanks. We have our segment. What are you reading and watching?
Yeah, so this is the time of the episode where we all divulge what's been on our mind as far as shows we've been watching, mangas / whatever we've been reading. I guess I'll start and then you guys can branch out. So as far as what I've been reading, pretty similar as normal. I'm like catching up on the weekly releases of like One Piece, Solo Leveling, which if you haven't started Solo Leveling, start Solo Leveling.
Every episode consistently.
Start reading Solo Leveling. Also, one of the ones I told you guys about, I think 1 or 2 episodes ago, Noblesse, which is also another manhwa, was adapted. They're doing it. They released an anime version of it. So there's like 2 or 3 episodes out on Crunchyroll right now. So watch it. It's like it's basically like a vampire, like in kind of, but like way better.
So
it's amazing.
Like Twilight or
not
not
like Twilight. There's like zero romance. So it's great. It's it's amazing. It's fantastic. So yeah, so it's that minus the romance. And then like dial up the action to like 10,000. So that's really good. I've been watching Boruto, which I was talking to you about. Yeah. And like we have mixed feelings about it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie. I do enjoy it. It's not as great as Shippuden by any stretch of the imagination. Not even close. At all. But still entertaining to watch.
It's resting on the laurels of it.
It is. It totally is.
Literally.
Yeah. Like, because the story itself is a little weak.
Yeah.
Like, really the only reason I keep watching is because the characters are fun. Like, in my opinion. Most of them, not all of them.
I still wish that they had focused on someone not Boruto.
Yeah.
Everybody else is pretty interesting.
I also feel like the kids are most of them are carbon copies of their parents. Yeah. Like Shikadai is literally his dad.
But also,
but young. Him. Yeah. he literally is his dad, but younger. Which like, so, but like, it's kind of funny, like their dynamic, the two of them, when they interact in scenes together, it's pretty funny.
They get into a bit where he like taps into his mom's side of things.
Really? Oh, I haven't gotten that far yet. Yeah, which is crazy because his mom has a temper.
Right.
Considering he's Gaara's sister. Like, you know, it's what is her name? Is it Tamari? I don't remember her name.
Fangirl.
Yeah. But it's pretty. It's
that
more
was a great description. The
fangirl. It's more interesting than I thought it was gonna be. And then
it does get better when they get into
that's true. Stuff. It does. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much what I've been reading and watching, and then still on my rewatch of Digimon on Hulu, which is it's Digimon. I mean, I love Digimon.
I think I got through 1 episode when I was younger, and then I was like,
"Just say it."
I was like, nah. I will say, like going back and watching it, it is. I mean, there's no BS about it. It's cheesy as hell. Like it is, but it's still fun. Like it's fun in a cheesy way. Like I mean,
I was such a big Pokemon fan that I felt like I was like switching sides if I watched it. Or I supported it.
Yu-Gi-Oh is the same. I was like, I can watch this.
I never watched Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh, I actually watched a couple.
I never watched Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Believe in the heart of the card.
It had layers. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like I know enough about it to like get the memes and like like the references and all that stuff, but like I never watched it. So I know who the characters are, like all that stuff.
Yeah, I'll say playing Yu-Gi-Oh cards made a lot more sense than playing Pokemon cards to me.
Well,
so I was like,
that's true.
if you end up card playing, because Pokemon cards was kind of trash.
Yeah,
because you had
the
to
card
like
game. Yeah,
you only got them because
it was just for collecting.
It wasn't even about playing the cards.
No, it was just collecting. Yeah,
right.
It was about showing up to school with your binders, with the leaves, flipping them and comparing
like,
and trading.
I'm like, actually Yu-Gi at school.
Nerdy basketball cards.
You know what
See,
I mean?
the only card game that I ever learned to play was it's funny enough, the Naruto card game.
Really?
So like, there's a trading card game for Naruto.
Which card game?
I've not gotten that.
So I had a bunch of buddies. I had a bunch of
either.
buddies in college, and shout out to my boy Freeman. He'll be watching this and reading this. He put me on that. So there was like a group of us. There was like 10 of us, and like we all like just made decks, and we would all like congregate in like in like his dorm room, and we would all just like play for like hours. It was actually really entertaining. It was kind of difficult to learn because it had some weird rules, and like just like the way of playing, like the way you built your deck and everything was kind of strange. But once you actually got it, it was a lot of fun to play. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. And like, I have no idea what happened to my cards, but that was a thing. So so next.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
So I've been watching Talentless Nana. Have y'all heard of that?
No.
What is this? Of course, you're always watching some very obscure anime.
No. So it's new. It's new this season, but somebody described it as Among Us and My Hero Academia, like at the same time.
That's weird.
And I was like, that's pretty accurate. That's pretty accurate. And it kind of keeps you, it's a little bit like who she's going to get next kind of thing, where it's someone every episode and you follow her or whatever. You have to figure out how she's going to figure out how to like kill these powered kids kind of thing or whatever. Yeah. But maybe I gave too much away. That's fine.
We spoil everything on the show. Like, I just don't know how to not, so we good. Like,
yeah.
but it's really good though, because you gotta
spoiler alerts.
You don't really know why. Well, you kind of figure out why this whole world is set up the way that it is, but the kids don't know, and so it's just interesting how it all plays out and how she figures out how she's gonna like kill each person or whatever. So yeah. Yep. It's not like gory, I don't think.
What is it? It's on Crunchyroll, you said, right?
I've been watching it on Funimation. Okay,
I'll still drop all the links I can everywhere so that people.
But it is good. It is good.
What was it called?
Talentless Nana.
Nana.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's like ill Nana, but not like
not ill at all. Actually, talentless.
Like not even close to ill. Like,
right. Yeah.
I was just telling you guys, I did a rewatch of Soul Eater, one season. I mean, it's a long season, but it's a good show. So I was like, I'm watching it again. But yeah, I always have hopes for a second season, but I don't think that's ever happening. I think we're far past that point. So I should keep rewatching over and over.
Like just playing,
reliving the glory days.
Yeah. Mine's just like a comic adjacent. So like I was telling, I've been on the Star Wars marathon, like rewatch almost.
Like the movies or like the cartoons?
Both. But my goal is to do episodical order, go through all the movies, and then I'll go through all those miniseries. I've been told don't go through. So there's like Clone Wars, which is like a bajillion seasons.
Yeah.
And then there's too many. And then I'm told that there's a way to watch it that's like that you're not getting, like it's kind of like how certain people I advise certain people to watch Bleach. And like, okay, watch
in
this.
certain order.
The canonical, is that the word?
Yeah.
Like this is the most important parts. And so I want to be watching Mandalorian, and I know that Mandalorian takes place like in the middle of kind of Star Wars timeline, but I still kind of want to make sure I'm not,
A couple people told me like even if you're not a fan of Star Wars, you could watch The Mandalorian and still enjoy it.
Yeah,
for what it is.
Yeah,
it's a really good show. Yeah,
it is, and Baby Yoda is the cutest. Now, I will say I've never bought myself any Baby Yoda thing ever in my life. There are so many Baby Yoda things in my apartment. I have so many. I have like at least 10 Baby Yoda things in my living room. Just that. My sister got me a big old Baby Yoda bobblehead pop figure for Christmas.
I actually know somebody that has that exact figure.
and I used to keep it in my office, but I brought it home now. But
so you have a Baby Yoda bobblehead. You said,
I do.
It's like a giant pop figure.
It is adorable.
Yeah.
It is as adorable as it sounds. It's so cute.
Look, I no judgments here.
Well, it was pretty funny because so Patrick, the guy that suggested the Torador last time. So I'm sure
Shame on him.
Shout out Patrick.
Shout out Patrick.
No shout outs for Patrick.
He'll definitely listen to this. He actually has that figure, and for Halloween he dressed it up as Happy from Fairy Tale. So he had like a little hat, and he like a little like a happy face mask that he put on it. It was the cutest thing.
When I brought him home from work, I put him in my work backpack, and I let his head stick out the top, and so he's just like bobbling behind me. It was the cutest.
So we are at our main topic. I'll let Hakim talk about it. I'm very excited. I'm super.
You are excited.
Dude, you understand how deep this goes for me. But go ahead.
So we're gonna get on the topic of popular animes right now, which we were all given the task of watching a specific one, and that was Dr. Stone. Which Kris, you've seen.
I have. I watched it when it was coming out because I was like, oh, I like his science. Yay. And so, yeah, I watched it when the season was current. Yep. Mm-hmm.
That was like last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty. I remember when I started seeing it.
Yeah,
I started seeing it all around. I was like, oh, that looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I never watched it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That's the reason I didn't watch it. Is because of science. Because that was like my least favorite subject in high school. Science and math were like my least favorite subjects. So I was like, an anime about science? Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Like,
I'm good on that.
Me with this one.
I'm good on that.
Thoughts overall, like just general thoughts. Then we'll dive into specifics. I guess Lance is.
I was just gonna say, I've never watched an anime like this ever.
Me neither.
Ever.
Yeah.
Right? This is like Magic School Bus meets a little bit of Dragon Ball, meets like a little bit of like. It is the most curious anime I've ever watched. Overall, I think that was my perception. It's like, man, this is truly unique. I've not seen anything else that has educated me so much.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I kind of was like I said, I didn't watch it when it first came out because I like science anime. No thanks. But I'm not gonna lie, after the first episode, I was hooked.
It's so good.
Like I never thought, like if I would have watched, if they would have had Dr. Stone when I was in high school, low key I might have become a scientist. Like, because it's super interesting and like. So, like, obviously they break it down in a way that makes it exciting and relatable to the story, which is fun. So, like, overall, before we get into any specifics, like, loved it. Like, absolutely loved it.
Yeah. Same. I like science. So, I love, like, them putting little bits and pieces of that into the show. And I think about, like, oh, I'm going to make my nephew watch this when he gets older. Like, stuff like that where I'm like, oh, this is so good. This is so refreshing to kind of see something interesting made fun, I guess. So, no. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it. And what is his name? Senku.
Yeah.
Love him.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. I hate science, but it's like I hate science, and there wasn't for me anything really compelling about the show. But for some reason, I was just like, I'll watch another episode.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like a smooth ride. There wasn't anything too jarring about it.
Yeah.
So I guess I enjoyed it.
It's and now I'll ask this question. Because I want to ask this question because I was curious. So, like, all of us have gotten, like, pieces of education from like some of these similar TV shows as kids. I wanted to know what y'all go-to was, right? Because I brought a Magic School Bus, that was like a huge one for me. But there's a lot of these ones that are out there. Like, what was y'all kind of like introduction to science, or at least in a way that you understood it, like as a kid, or that you could put on, or they put on in class, and you and other kids just like, oh, intestines, you know what I mean? Like,
that's a good question. Mine wasn't any kind of cartoon. I think mine was Bill Nye the Science
Same.
Guy.
Same.
Yeah. I don't remember anything animated that made me think about.
Well, yeah, that
like,
counts too. That's all. I didn't
Yeah.
want to like give that one away, but yeah, that one.
Right.
I feel like the only one that I can even think of is Magic School Bus. Like that's the only like cartoon, like educational ish cartoon that I can think of like when we were kids. Like I can't think of any other ones like off the top of my head.
Osmosis Jones, does that count?
I think it counts.
I forgot about that movie.
Oh, which
It was a show too.
Yeah,
I never watched the show. I just saw the movie. Yeah.
There's an anime called Cells at Work that like has that same type of
I
thing.
haven't seen the show, but I've like seen like memes of it on like Facebook
God,
and stuff.
that show is hilarious. The white blood cells are just the funniest thing to me. I don't know why. It gets very violent whenever they're there, but they're just my favorite part of the show.
It's some of this stuff, right? Like, or even, I even think about like, this isn't sci-fi related, but I think about even like Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah.
Right, like these are like
yes.
cartoons used to educate you at at a high level.
Yeah.
And I don't know
Schoolhouse Rock was
how.
my
Like I
jam.
just don't know how that works, but
It's
it
the
works.
songs.
I'm a Bill
It's
sitting
gotta
on
be.
Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why that works, but now I
Long,
can't
long way.
not, you know.
Right. At conjunction junction.
Oh, that was
What's your
hard.
What's your function?
That was hard.
So
Memory
good.
lane.
So now that makes me want to dive more into Dr. Stone. What did you guys think about the premise of the show? I was completely blindsided. I was like, oh, this is actually about science.
Right.
I thought maybe people would be fighting. I thought there'd be some powers. He's got some cool hair, so I was like, maybe that has something to do with his ability.
He's got anime
But-
shonen protagonist hair.
Right.
But nah, they were, looking at natural resources and
Science
making
is a
magnets and
superpower.
stuff. I was like, wow, this is actually cool.
Like that's the thing for me, like, because the first thing that I ever heard about Dr. Stone is like, oh, they teach you how to make a bomb, like, and like, which I mean he did, but I mean that was such a small part of like that episode. Like literally, there wasn't even a bomb. He just created gunpowder to like literally like use as a bluff,
Right.
to keep himself alive.
Right.
So I thought it was super interesting because like the whole premise of the show about him recreating like this kingdom of science, quote unquote, like, which hilarious, but the kingdom of science versus like the beast kingdom or whatever, like the animal kingdom. But no, like his kingdom of science where he like every new invention is literally just something for them to like survive the next attack, kind of. Cause like, like he's creating, like gunpowder and magnets and, like a furnace, the different things that, and like my favorite character is the craftsman.
Oh,
man.
Oh yeah.
So low key.
He's
Like
so hilarious.
They finessed him to
Yeah.
about making glass blow.
Bro,
Yeah.
Senku got him, like, that was
He really
hilarious.
did.
Yeah.
And then the fact that he just gets so hype every time like Senku gives him a new project. And
Right.
he just like shreds his clothing, which is hilarious to me. But no, like that character cracks me up. But like I love the fact that each individual character kind of has their own contribution to the kingdom of science, and so yeah, I think it's a great premise, honestly.
I was gonna say that I thought it was interesting that like Mother Nature resets itself, and that's kind of like because like I mean at least right now, like this is season 1, we don't know how. I don't think that my suspicions. I don't think that it's like man-made. I don't think a man-made thing petrified it because it just doesn't make sense for. I mean, it's anime, but like it doesn't make sense for like petrify humankind for thousands of years and then not be able to like. So I do think that that's interesting that like Mother Nature resets itself. Now we have all these like raw materials, all these different things that like like that you can't find that easily, stuff like that. They're as a
the way
homeboy.
they animated, what was that, sulfur?
Yeah.
I was like,
the witch.
That's
Like, that was
good.
crazy.
Yeah.
Even when they found tungsten and whatnot, like I thought that was interesting too. And it's all I have to say is I thought that part of the premise was like, I was like, oh, that also kind of kept me there. I was like, why did this happen? I mean, they never explained it, but like, it's like, why did this happen?
Yeah, I thought it was cool how they took use of the future and made it primitive. I thought that was interesting, going so far in the future that everything comes back to like square one again.
Yeah, I agree.
Favorite characters?
Yeah, I mean the craftsman. I forget his name, but the craftsman, and then, he's probably my favorite character just because he's hilarious and I love like his reactions to everything. Like when he first came in and was doing the glass blowing and everything, and they were like, "Oh my god, like how are you so good at this?"
It was lit.
Yeah,
Kaseki.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
But like one of my favorite parts with him though was like when he was talking about how Senku like has what's his face, his science buddy, who I'm totally blanking on his name right now.
Yeah.
He's like, and I don't have a craftsman buddy.
You talking about Chrome?
Yeah, bro.
Chrome.
Yeah, Chrome. Yeah.
I feel like Chrome was probably your favorite character.
Chrome was, that's like the underdogs, man. Like,
Yeah, that's
anyway,
true.
sorry.
But no, so like one of my favorite parts is like when he's like telling Senku like I don't have a Chrome for I don't have that guy that's like my sidekick, my homie that like we're doing all this crafting stuff together, like we're homies, and he's like, what are you talking about? You're like 1/3 of the trio here, and like, and he just like breaks down crying, and it's like
Because
that
he
was
doesn't
cool.
realize, like,
that was cool.
if it wasn't for him,
Yeah,
like,
we
y'all
wouldn't
would have
create
done
anything,
nothing
right.
efficiently, like, at all. And everything would have been ugly.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Like they tried to blow glass twice and it failed miserably.
Yeah, it looked like ice cream.
Yeah,
It was bad. I'm
It
like,
was real bad.
I've never seen glass that droopy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I was like, what?
right. But no, yeah. So he's probably like for comic relief, kind of, just because like every time he's in, he's either like super serious making something, or he's like a gag character half the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
Mine's definitely Senku. Yeah, there's a place in my heart for him, but I also love his dad.
Yeah.
Like when they start getting into like some of his flashbacks and like just different stuff that his dad did for him or whatever, as they get further into the story, and his dad in outer space and all the little nuggets he placed in this town for his son and stuff like that. Like I was like, okay, Senku's dad is my favorite. It's gotta be.
So your pick is the dad?
It is the dad.
Okay.
I thought it was gonna be Senku when I started that real long sentence situation, but then I was like, nah, I think Senku's dad probably. Yeah.
Especially with the recording.
Yeah, I was like, oh, you gonna make me cry.
And I just thought his dad, like, I know Senku's the smart guy, but like I thought his dad was way cooler than him. Like,
He
like he
was.
was like
Yeah.
the people's person.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was like, he cared about how everybody, whereas Senku's just, which we find out that he's sort of like that too, sort of.
Yeah.
But it's all draped in this Science Nation talk.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, right.
I thought Senku was cool. I love that his character was like serious, had a serious tone. He was about his business,
Yeah.
but he was also really silly at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, he could make a joke and be silly when the time allowed it to, but
Yeah.
he wasn't overly like, all right, I don't take anything this guy says seriously.
Yeah, right.
So I thought that was a good balance that they created in his character.
I got two. I don't know. Did you go?
Of what?
Your favorite character?
Yeah, Senku.
Okay. I got two. So my 1A, of course, is Chrome. Chrome the man. First of all, we can talk about how
Chrome
this
is
man
dope.
found all this material before this guy.
Yeah,
said
true.
okay.
He was like, this just felt special, so I picked up a bunch of it.
Yeah.
And I got it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think I have a deep respect for Chrome and his sorcery efforts, because he had to read.
The sorcery battle was probably the funniest part of the show.
He's changing colors of the fire, like it's doing something. It's like it's blue down, and then it's like, dude, I know how you did all that. Like that's kind of like, that's I think I appreciate it. And even Senku pointed it out, it's like he's fearless because he went and he was just willing to try anything before he got there. And I think that because ultimately that's mankind. That's how we've progressed as far as we have is that mind state. And so
and I think building on top of that too, like the part of the show where, you know, he's talking about, well, even if you kill me, like science is going to be revived eventually because human nature is progress, you know, and like it flashes to Chrome, you know, and his like all of his material, like you're saying, all his materials, and he's trying all these experiments, doing all this stuff, and wants to be this sorcerer person, and like so he's like, dude, even if you kill me, like science is gonna revive eventually, anyways.
People are curious.
Yeah,
they're naturally curious.
Like your kingdom of perpetual, whatever you're trying to do here, is gonna eventually be turned upside down by somebody that makes scientific breakthroughs, like
one way or another,
whether it's him or not.
And I think and so I think like and I think that so I appreciated that, and I appreciated that like Chrome wasn't like he was obviously less wise than Senku, but like he wasn't stupid, like he wasn't like not he was almost keeping to he like as soon as Senku would break something down to him, he's like, okay, that's confusing. Oh, I get it. Okay, this is this. And then towards the end of the season, spoilers all through this episode. I forgot to say that. But like toward the end of the season, he's like, is at one point where he's like, Senku's like, dude, you know this already. Like just go like you didn't did all of what just use your brain. Not in a bad way, but like you got this. And then he does this illustrious device
with the
just
and
to do something
like,
so
what?
simple. Like, bro, what are you? And he's like, you know what? This might have been the best option either way.
That was hilarious.
Chrome, I like Chrome, and then I actually, dang it, is it on even? Well, they don't even got their characters colored on this guy. I like the I forget the bridge protector.
The guard with the glasses.
The
one that got the gold spear.
What was his name?
The rules
it was
are
like
rules
Magma or something.
No, not Magma. Magma the
no, he's
sort
the
of
idiot,
the antagonist, but not really an antagonist.
What was his name? It started with a G, didn't it?
Ginro. I was gonna say
Ginro
the thing was like gold and silver or whatever.
I like the older darker hair one. I'm guessing is Ginro only because like he has like these set of morals, like, principles that he stands on.
But he bent it for the spirit. His brother was so salty, and then when he got the silver spear, he was like rubbing it in his face. That was funny.
That's why. I think that his character has some complexities that I appreciated, and then also I appreciated like his fight scene.
With the fuzzy disease.
Bro, you blind. Like that's funny. So
you just need glasses, bro.
that's also I appreciate his character a whole ton.
Well, I think it was cool that like, you know, like when he finally created glasses for him, like he was so resistant to the idea of like telling people that was his handicap, you know, and it was like, well, this man would be a dope ass fighter if he could actually see,
right?
Like the fact that he can keep up with everybody in the village despite the fact that he can't see anybody. They were like, bro, why is your finishing move so shallow? And he's like, well, I can't see crap. Like, and then he put the glasses on him, and he was like, oh snap, this is what seeing is like. And then he was just like whooping everybody. Like,
right.
He's putting the paint on Magma in that fight.
I love the little girl.
I was about to say Suika.
When they take her, when she can't see and her face scrunches all the way up. They're like, oh, you're actually really cute. Never mind.
That scene that caught me off guard so bad.
It's like, this is what my face turns like when I fight the fuzzy disease. It's like you just can't see.
That was hilarious.
Like, turned to the whole zombie where you.
They went from like, oh, she's the cutest thing ever to like, what is it?
I get it. Cute. That's it. On the way to the bathroom in the middle of the night face.
Right.
Oh, I don't miss.
It's like,
no joke, man.
Nah, I feel that without my glasses.
Yeah,
same.
Same. Be bumping into things and
right.
It's real bad. Yeah, blind. I'm wearing contacts for those that don't know me.
Right.
That's 2020 vision. I'm grateful.
You lucky.
Right.
Hate you.
So lucky.
What about not me Casa, but Su Casa,
Oh, man.
the antagonist?
Yo, I think, and I don't know if y'all.
Sorry. I was holding it in, and then I was like, I can't believe you said that.
What, me Casa, Su Casa? Every time I heard his name, I was like, me Casa.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. That's the first thing I thought of when I heard his name. I appreciate, and I don't know if the show is going for this, but like, there's clearly some like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Magneto, Professor, like it's clearly some of that, not just like just a good guy and a bad guy, but like a chain, like a two different philosophies on how to like. Yeah, and I think that was super intriguing for me. Like, even with Sukasa's not just this muscle-bound dude. He just has this whole set of beliefs of, hey, I just think we should kill all the old people because they're less efficient and they have these preconceived notions and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, and then his whole thing of like, you know, like they're greedy.
You want to get rid of like classism.
Yeah,
as well.
exactly. Like he's like, if we revive all the old people that are used to being in charge, used to stepping on people like us, used to like power and wealth and everything, like our society's just gonna revert to what it was. Like, why revive them? Like, I get that.
Yeah. I'm curious to hear what y'all think about his philosophy about older people in general, because I think a lot about like Gen Z kids in general. And like, I thought like, one of the things, and this is horrible, and maybe you want to edit this out, but one of the things one of the things a lot of the Gen Z kids said when COVID and stuff came out, they were calling it the boomer remover. But like that's that same idea, kind of philosophy, this idea that like the world would be better if old people weren't there, as if we don't become the old people. Like, we get there. They were us and they got where they were. Like, we will get there in our own way. We'll be a different kind of bad. You know what I mean? Maybe that's just me being cynical. But I'm curious what y'all thought about that kind of philosophy in general, the idea that if we were only to just get rid of the old people that have these things and are perpetuating these systems, that the world would be better. Like, is there any truth in that?
Maybe. I mean, if we're looking at it from a black and white perspective, no pun intended, but I feel like racism will be pretty much done for if per se a certain age range and up just ceased to exist. I feel like that's where the true racism dwells. It doesn't dwell in 25, 30-year-olds, you know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing too, like, you know, with kids, like, kids aren't, like, racism is taught. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
That's not like, you know, like, there's certain, you know, behaviors, things like, you know, kind of conceived notions, but like, those are learned.
Yeah.
You know, like, those are behaviors that are learned.
Yeah.
You know, so like, so like what you're saying, like, I feel like, because I mean, you look at like our current political system, like, you know, and like, not to get too philosophical or anything, but like, both of our options were old crotchety white guys, and it's like, you're both the problem. Like, so I completely agree. I mean I agree with that idea that, like, you know, with his premise of, you know, if we erase that portion of society, like, we can like restart, you know, and like have this utopian society that he thinks is possible, you know, with like, oh, we can recreate the world in a way that we feel is appropriate, you know, like, which is a ballsy idea, but I don't think it's far off from the truth, you know, like, I think every generation thinks that, oh, hey, we're going to change the world.
Yeah.
You know, and then at the expense of the ideas of our previous generation, you know, our parents' generation, you know, because, you know, I know that I have a lot of different ideas and philosophies and different things that I believe versus what my parents believed or what they taught me as a kid, you know, and so like, and my kids, you know, God willing, you know, who knows what happened in the future, but, you know, we'll have much different ideas and philosophies than even I do, you know, and so,
yeah.
You know, but It's like he's like that Thanos character where you're like, I kind of agree.
Yeah,
But
that's a really good comparison.
Yeah.
I think, I'm conflicted because I think about what's homeboy the craftsman, his name. We have actual smartphones, not the one that they had in there. So I don't know why I'm not
smartphones for when we're dumb.
But I think about his usefulness in like the entire show. Like he was an extremely useful character.
And part of his mastery happened because of his age, because he had time.
Yeah, and right. It's the time that allowed him to be able to perfect these like glass blown figures. Yeah, the all these other things that they had to create. And so I think I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't like it, and I don't think Senku is all the way right with like science will solve everything either. Don't get me wrong. I love science, and this show has made me appreciate science in a whole other level as well. But I also think that like I think what we find when we watch these kinds of shows is that if you blend the philosophies, then there's something like in between there that will probably be way more efficient than the two. I think right when you talk about democracy. I think democracy works if it's diverse, if it's diverse in age, in class, in man, woman, in race, and all these different things. And then if we have a real democracy that's a diverse democracy, but the thing is, it's not a democracy if it's the same folks. Like if it's you and your brother, like it's just that's an anarchy. That's not really like so much a even balanced group of ideas and things like that. So I think Tsukasa, like it's interesting because I want like you said, I want to say he's wrong. He's not like, but like I also want to say like don't wipe out all old people because I think there's value in like there's wisdom there. There's wisdom in and especially like I think like in Black communities like one of the things I think that we also need to embrace more is also that same thing. It's like, no, old people probably know a little something. Like they probably could give you a little something that you wouldn't have known and you wouldn't have had to go through if you were bestowed that wisdom. But
no, it's like if nothing else, they have the knowledge to survive to the point that they're at. Yeah. Like, and there's something in that. There's something in that just the knowledge you have from survival that's so valuable. And I always feel like sometimes I get frustrated talking to old people and young people a lot, actually. But like I always am like, I don't know if there's something about Tsukasa's philosophy that felt so like egotistical. What about your vision of the world means that that's the actual vision of the world that will work for everybody. That works for you and your mind and your perspective of the world. It's like it'll work. But and have I ever said this before? I always describe perspective as like trying to see into another room through a doorway. Where you are in this room will determine what you can see in the other room through the doorway. And the only way for me to understand what that room actually looks like is to ask you what your perspective is. So then you can tell me the stuff that I can't see.
Yeah.
So it's this kind of idea where it's like, we have to remember that there's a perspective that old people give us that's important because there are things that we can't see from our perspective.
Yeah.
So it's this idea, like Tsukasa has this idea that if we get rid of all the old people, that the world would be better. Like he's not going to create a new and different type of evil. Because like evil will always exist, if that makes sense. It's not like you're going to be able to get rid of all the old people and that means all the bad people are gone.
No.
It's like, no. And like you think about like books like Lord of the Flies.
Yeah.
Where it's like, they killed the fat kid. Like this kind of thing. Where it's like
another spoiler, unintentional spoiler.
Right. But like
spoil the
books. But they do. But this idea where it's kind of like now you have a society that's like all little kids, and they still found a way to like separate themselves and create classes and to create inequality amongst themselves. Just based off of their own seeking and searching for power. So That's no thoughts. But I've thought about that. That's what when I think about Tsukasa, I think about that.
Yeah.
When you chop this up for like the little preview clip, it's that.
Oh, yeah.
It's that right there.
If you notice, there's
That was
a pattern.
profound.
It's usually her.
It's usually her, right?
Like the big philosophical thought. Like that's why people keeps coming back and watching. You know, and listening.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's I agree wholeheartedly. I think that like, oh man, it's so interesting because because also like think about like the villagers too, right? Like they're not off the hook. Like especially they have. And I don't want to say primitive is not always bad, but I think the problem, right, their whole thing was, we're not going to let Senku in here and his sorcery, right?
Listen, how he finessed that, he was like, I'm gonna make y'all some ramen.
Yeah, right.
And you gonna change your mind.
And then you're going to work for me.
Right. And the ramen was like trash. Like it was trash ramen, but
for what they had.
right.
Yeah, it was better than anything they had.
What was it? They were just eating fish the whole time?
Yeah,
or one of the
literally, it
people
was just
eating
fried fish, and I think one dude had like pig at one point.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's it? Like,
And
y'all
then
just
wasn't
haven't
he
grilled
creating
everything?
ramen out of like, what was it, like cattails or something like that? Like, what was it?
What foxtail?
What plant was he using to like create the ramen, the noodles or whatever?
It was
I don't know.
it was something that was not intended to be wheat,
Yeah,
but worked as but it was a grain.
Yeah, right, of some kind, yeah.
Yeah, but no, I think like the villagers, like when they were like resistant to even just letting him even cross the bridge, like not like come in, let's hear you out, and then kick you out. They didn't even want you to cross the bridge.
Or like they were so stringent, they literally kicked one of their kids out. Like all the boy was doing was collecting stuff and be like, oh, if I mix this and mix together, it goes boom. And they're like, oh no, we don't do that here. You gotta go.
We don't do that here.
And I mean, they had to kidnap the craftsman to get him to come out to work with them.
But it was funny how they were like, yo, like, did you kidnap him or did he let you take him? Like,
Yeah, I'm like, this dude could have
low key, this man's the strongest person in the village. Like,
Yeah, right?
Bust out the ropes. I was like, this dude
nobody's
was gonna kill
legit
everybody.
kidnapping us. Yeah, right.
Right.
But like going kind of back to what you were talking about a little bit, just one more thing that I was thinking of with Tsukasa is like that moment where he thinks he kills Senku.
Yes.
And then
oh
he
my
talks
gosh.
about like, if we would have met in our previous life, I feel like we would have been like, you would have been my friend. Like we would have been friends. Like that whole like flashback to like him being part of the team, you know, where he kind of inserted himself into the crew that was like doing the experiments, hanging out at school, like hanging out after school, like getting into trouble together, like all that stuff. Like I feel like that was kind of an understated moment where you see this kind of dissection or this intersection of where like the antagonist and the protagonist are like, hey, like our ideas are really different, but like ultimately like we have the same goal.
That's the
kind of.
Professor X Magneto.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
Like we're
right.
like they were brothers, and then they're like, well,
Right.
our idea of an ideal world is different, and so like, and we're each gonna pursue kind of our idea of that separately, but like obviously one of us has to lose for the other's idea to be a reality, you know. And so I think that was like that for me was like a crucial moment where you're like, okay, like there's no way they can reconcile their ideas at this point, like because Tsukasa's not ever gonna bend what he feels like is an ideal world, and neither is Senku.
When Senku saw him kill that first person, like destroy that first statue, he's like, excuse me, what?
It's like,
He
this
a
is gonna be a
killer.
fraud.
Like,
But like you,
like, oh,
you know
that
that's
is
murder. Like,
Oh,
But it's like,
So
is
you
it,
with me? Nah.
Like, nah, we're not doing
what was
that.
his buddy's name? Because he was like, oh, he could be whatever. Like, no, he's a murderer. Like, no, he's a murderer.
He was like, we probably should have
big
just
Yeah.
figured it out on our own
like,
with the lions.
we should just let them eat us, because this man's a
Listen.
murderer.
That was Taiju.
Yeah,
Taiju.
he's-
ripping the
he's really
lions to pieces. I was like, Jesus,
Well, then,
that's
like,
a child? That's someone's
like,
kid?
Like when they fought, like Tsukasa and Taiju, and he was like, yo, like if you actually fought back, like you might actually make me work. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I don't fight back. I just take it. Like, I'm like, bro.
Right. I'm like, bro, you're gonna die. Like,
right.
Take the world.
Literally gonna
the
beat you to
stone
death.
world is not for you.
Like you're gonna have to fight back, my boy. Like,
Right.
especially if you want to revive your girl, you're gonna have to fight back.
Right.
right?
Buggy.
Listen, but Senku's long game,
Yeah, that's
Oh,
true.
for sure.
stop. I was like, yes to everything that's happening right now. Like,
Well, and how he kept baiting them with like him cracking his neck, and he's like, "You'll figure it out." Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
bro, that was.
And then like having the words like like having the wherewithal to say, okay, he thinks I'm dead and you guys will be helpless without me. Go join him and like, you'll know when it's time kind of thing. And I'm like,
but like low-key Tsukasa knew the whole time. He's like, there's no way. There's some way he lived. Like there has to be some way. That's why he was so there's like that's why he was so suspicious the whole time. That's why he sent Gen like into the village, you know, like
Gen in his soda was another sweet moment.
It's cola.
Cola. I feel like he's another. He didn't have a lot of great like explosive moments, but he's also another underrated character too. Yeah. Like he has some moments that, you know, even his little like disappearing flower trick, which got him killed. Like he didn't die, but like he got him killed. Like,
that was like, that was. They beat the mess out of him.
They really did.
Like beat him to like.
Bro, they jumped him like. Bro.
I think his decision to side with Senku, I think it was interesting because it wasn't even over nothing like deep. It wasn't. Well, like I think it was deep, but it wasn't that deep on the surface. It's like, can you make me cola?
Yeah.
Yes. I was like, all right, cool. We're
good.
I
feel like they go into it where it was like he low-key had already decided that he was gonna follow Senku anyways, and that was just kind of like the icing on the cake kind of thing. Where it was like, I know you can do this. This is what I'm gonna say is why I'm joining you, but real talk, like your ideas, your progress ideas are more my style than. You know, Tsukasa's like, let's just kill everybody that we don't like.
Right. Especially because he's like supposed to be like the master finesser. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like the science suits him better.
Yeah.
Science suits him better.
Yeah.
Now we've praised this show up until this point. What downfalls do you guys think the show had?
The tournament arc.
For the love of the.
The whole fighting for the girl moment in the middle.
The tournament,
I was kind of like, this is boring. I was like, funny because where's the science projects?
But the tournament arc is what you usually want in an anime. That's usually where you're like, yo,
I was gonna say it's like you said, it's telling that's like the least interesting part of it.
All the exciting fighting happened not that in that moment. The bridge when they're fighting against Tsukasa's people, that fight was really interesting, and his little spear thing or whatever. That stuff was more interesting. The sister that or whatever, whenever she got a chance to fight, was really interesting. Like she was stronger than everybody. Like those things were like really interesting. Like all of the fights in the actual tournament were like,
Well, because they were like, it was just like them trying to figure out ways to like finesse Magma out of winning.
Right.
It wasn't necessarily they were like, oh, let's show off what we can actually do. It's like, no, just don't let Magma win.
And like he wasn't even like, I just wouldn't.
He wasn't even cold like that.
He was a pretty silly character. Like pretty like I didn't feel really any kind of way about him.
I wouldn't even like because even after like him and Senku, I was like, okay, whatever. Like it's fine. I don't need to like you, and I don't need to hate you. Like I'm not like I'm indifferent.
I'd rather like someone or hate them.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like they tried to make him a character that you would hate, but then like they also tried to redeem him towards the end of the season, where it's like, wow, just like leave him as a character that we don't like.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
he's that one douchebag.
Yeah. Right.
Like everybody knows him. Every society has it.
And it would've been cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just didn't care enough about him to feel like any sort of way about the thing. I didn't hate him enough to want them to win.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't want them to win, I just didn't care. I didn't care. Yeah.
I thought the end of the tournament was pretty funny though.
It was.
Like
that was
when Kinro or whatever, he just decides at the last fight, all of a sudden, I'm not gonna throw it anymore. Like I'm just gonna fight for real.
It's like, I can marry her.
And then he kept, he took like all of the plants, and he was like mad hallucinating. And he thought he was killing it. Everybody was like, "Bro, are you okay?"
Like not at all. I was thrown at first because I was like, "Oh shit." Is he really? Oh, okay.
No,
Never
actually,
mind.
yeah.
Not at all.
That was
When
really
did this
funny.
happen? Right, like
Right.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
I was like, all that training did that?
Yeah.
No, it didn't. It
That was
didn't do
hilarious.
that.
I'll go next just because it's a small thing. But like, I thought that the fact that the end goal, like, so all we have, again, I was telling you, all these great science experiments, amazing experiments. We've created a hydroelectric generator. We've created glass light bulbs. We've lit up a tree on Christmas, and at the end of the season, we're making a cell phone.
Right.
It's the dumbest thing you could possibly make. I'm like, all this technology, all this progress for a phone.
Yeah.
Whatever, bro. Like, I'm like, this is it. I think that's the thing. I was like, y'all had a lot of weight. Y'all could have ramped it up even higher. Y'all could have ended season 1 on like, we're making a car or something like that. That I was been like, yo, like, right. And I'm like, if y'all do, I promise I'm suing y'all. Like, y'all listen to this. But like, I felt like they could have ended the technological progress on a much higher note. And
To be fair, like, kind of to play devil's advocate to your point, like, I mean, the idea that they needed some sort of communication device to fight, because, like, really, what are they going to do? Like, they're a village. Like, as soon as they take the bridge, they're done. Like, they're going to need some way to fight that's, like, smarter than their enemy. And really, the only way they have is some form of communication. Like, what else are they gonna build that's gonna give them an advantage in a fight like that?
They made 2 phones.
Yeah, but which is hilarious because they built the first one and then they were like,
I got
"Oh, we have to do the
2
second one." What?
phones.
They're like, "Wait, it doesn't just work in
Like,
in single."
I'm like, y'all, but he had me thinking like this is gonna be like T-Mobile, like this.
Yeah,
is
right.
Legit.
It's like a giant brick. I'm like, what is that? Like, that is not what I was picturing.
Yeah.
Not
At
a
all.
mobile phone at all.
Yeah, no, it's
Right.
not mobile at all. It's a phone, but
Yeah.
But no, I just don't know what else they could have created. That's the thing. Like, I don't know what
Yeah.
else they
A
could have
car,
made. Like,
a car, because they alluded to it right when he
did,
first met what's her name? Why did I keep? Sorry guys, this is not professional. But the old girl's sister, the younger sister, or the younger sister, the
Yeah.
strong one.
Strong one.
And he met her, and then he created this car in like 5 seconds.
oh, yeah.
That like
Yeah.
that just got destroyed in like
Yeah.
a minute, but like he made it, and I was like, oh, they're gonna probably keep going in that direction, like as far as creations, and they did, but just not ended
Not that way. Yeah. I feel like that moment at the end would have paid off if they had gone a little bit further. Because I know it's based off of the Shonen Jump manga or whatever, which I have not read. But it's one of those things where it's like, if you had, the payoff would have been better if you had let me see like his friends get the receiver.
The other phone. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that would have been
that's true.
kind of like, all right, now we're starting. And it would have been the cliffhanger to have. And it's enough of a cliffhanger because you know they're going to have to figure out a way to get it to them. But like, I don't know. Like I agree that there was a little letdown with the payoff at the end of it. To say now there's just 2 giant bricks sitting here. And I don't know how you're going to get it.
Well, I feel like
the
too.
camp.
Yeah, I feel like too. There's no conceivable way that they can sneak that kind of a thing into Tsukasa's camp or even in the vicinity. Because like you think about it, he's been reviving like fighters, warriors, like people who are like survivalists. Kind of. And he's like, what? These kind of people are gonna be on high alert for any tricks that you're gonna be playing. Like, what are you really gonna do? You know,
And
like
we're
how are you?
supposed to-
How are you gonna sneak something in the vicinity of a kingdom of that many people that are like that? You know, and like you've already seen
to your friend who's proven
who's a dumbass,
foolish.
Right.
He's a complete dumbass.
He ain't it. He not the guy,
Right.
bro.
No.
He not 007. I
No,
don't
he's
know what
not.
you
Not
want
even
him
a
to
little
be,
bit.
but he ain't that.
Like I'm like low key surprised that. Well, I think for a while they didn't flash back to them because he's kind of an uninteresting character.
But I appreciated them so much for doing that because I thought I was like they gonna try to like give us one of them episodes where they flip back to them
where they're like trying to like not shit and like not divulge the
yeah,
secret. Like,
they didn't do it at all. I was like,
yeah,
wow.
like I appreciated that too.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, he wasn't an interesting enough of a character to hold on an episode by himself, like even with his girlfriend. But
They tried in the beginning.
they tried. It was it was bad.
didn't
I mean, episode 1 was like, oh, look at them, and then I didn't really care much.
Bro, that whole part about like, oh well, I'm gonna wait until like we revive everybody to tell you what I was gonna tell you. Like,
Stupid.
that was stupid, bro.
Stupid.
I'm like literally like probably won't even happen in your
It's
lifetime.
like you
just go
got
ahead,
petrified
Just go ahead
trying to
and
tell this girl you like her.
Yeah,
You've been waiting like 1,000 years?
3,700 years.
bro.
Yeah, thousands of years to tell her you like her.
It's like, bro, you're on some Adam and Eve stuff right now. Like, bro,
Yeah,
you're gonna have to repopulate the earth. Like, I'm like, might as well get to it.
You better figure this out.
You better figure it out, my
Y'all
guy.
better get to
better
it.
figure it out.
Was she wearing headphones even
Yeah,
after
she was.
she got
Listen,
the whole
I
time.
don't.
with no music? Like no, that like,
Nothing.
Oh, I do like though the way that
None whatsoever.
the way that they animate to kind of show you the difference between someone who's been born and someone
that was
who's
cool.
been
Yeah, that's
unpetrified
true.
with the cracks in
Yeah.
them and stuff. I was like, interesting.
Now we're not talking about.
I
what
hope
we
those
like.
aren't
We're talking about
fatal.
what we don't
Oh,
like.
sorry. Sorry. There's just too much to like.
Yeah. Also,
It was
with,
a lot to like.
this is also another stupid thing, but the headphones. Like,
That
Yeah,
was
it was
like,
literally,
just
like
saying,
everybody. So here's the thing: like everybody woke up naked because all their clothes disintegrated off of them, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
so like I feel like any piece of technology would have broken.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
and it wouldn't
wasn't
have
conceivable.
it
Like
wouldn't have
corroded or
petrified. Like the
something.
headphones wouldn't have petrified. Just her body would have, because it was only like their flesh and blood that
listen,
petrified.
Yeah.
she had a fire ass playlist playing for those thousands of years.
She did.
That's
Yeah,
what,
she must have. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what kept them.
Right,
Just
so I'm like,
bumping.
bro, okay,
Yo.
that to me, I was like, okay, well, that's just a character design. That's kind of stupid.
And now in
Yeah.
my head, I'm going to be building. What would be I could listen to
3,000
this
year
for
playlist.
3,000 year
Oh,
playlist.
actually, matter of fact, that's where we at. Okay, we good. And so on the tip, and then we can get back to what we don't like, but I do want to ask this very not important side question. If you had to reintroduce the village with one song from current time and future time, what one song would
Introduce
you
them to
introduce
music?
to the village?
Damn, that's a deep.
Remember, because
Oh,
they
because she
had
has
like
the song. Yeah,
they had the
The
record
record player.
going.
Like
and
what
girls
what would be
singing
the
songs.
first thing that they would hear as
Yes.
music?
What one song would you pick to go on that
Dude.
record?
No.
I don't know.
Like,
Actually, you could just pick 2 or 5. I don't care. I just want to hear. I'm
Okay,
so
Lance,
curious to see
you-
what
you
y'all
go-
think.
If
you
you
go
do
first.
5, you
Yeah.
gotta do like pick. Oh, I'm not even holding the mic. You gotta pick one from like each genre. I feel like.
you don't got to pick a country song.
That could
It's
stay
like,
past.
country never existed.
genre. Skip it. Just skip the whole genre.
That could stay right where that's at.
Right.
Oh, you died. Good.
Oh, man.
It's all good.
I have no idea. I really don't know. I don't know. Too much pressure.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Pressure.
say that the problem is that I like all that's in my head are the people that I've been listening to lately.
Yeah, that's true.
So those are gonna be the people that like are fresh on my mind. There's a song by this British jazz singer that this British
that's
jazz
popular on
singer
TikTok
I
is
like
like
called
hard and fast now.
Bittersweet. But like that's just because I love that song right now of all time. The first.
That's not a fair question. I don't think.
It's not. It's really not.
I feel like for me it would have to be like the biggest of the biggest songs from a certain like
certain
period
eras,
of time.
yeah.
Like
I
Yeah,
feel like
don't
it's
think- that's
gotta
what I'm saying.
be.
I don't think it has to be like I wouldn't pick obscure songs. I would pick really big anthems or pop
Yeah.
anthems or something. I might pick an NSYNC song, or I might pick
Right.
I
like
don't know if I'm going.
I
that
mean,
far.
I'm picking
I'll-
Boogie
yeah.
Wonderland for sure.
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm
Boogie
thinking, like-
Wonderland, Earth, Wind, and Fire.
I'm going with
For sure.
yeah,
That's
stuff
what I
like that.
mean.
I'm thinking.
I'm gonna go with Shakira's World Cup song.
I'm
I'm also thinking like Bob Marley.
Yeah.
Like just like very easy listening, or just songs that's almost impossible not to enjoy.
Hips don't lie.
yeah. I think
Gotta
because
put one
of-
for the baby making in there.
because of the rumored Tribe Called Quest Outkast versus that might or might not be happening. I think So Fresh and So Clean.
That's not happening.
That's in the rumors.
There's
Swiss
no way.
Beats
That's a
himself has
rumor?
mentioned it.
I don't trust Swiss Beats.
I don't trust him either, but
Neither did his
because he said
ex-wife.
that, it got me thinking about So Fresh, So Clean. I mean, So Fresh, So Clean, and I just think having that being like the one song that plays, so it's like y'all don't understand this song here, like this Outkast. That's definitely
This is what you build
This
your
is society
musical.
in a nutshell.
Yeah, like
Right. Just Outkast.
your musical progress
remember
starts
every
here.
single word. You know?
But then at the same time, I'd give them some like Square Pusher, some crazy electronic, like bend your mind music that they're just like, what the fuck am I listening to?
How do you no way we can recreate
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's funny.
no, and I'm like, and I like jazz too, so I'm like, you gotta put some like snarky puppy in there and stuff like, you know, like bring that into, you got your like Layla Hathaway and her dad, you know, like Donny Hathaway, Layla Hathaway.
just start that as the bass.
Stuff.
Like, if we go forward from here, maybe music doesn't get bad anymore. Like maybe we don't have bad music if this is where we
I didn't
start.
think about that. Like you got to start from the potential.
A high level.
Yeah,
This is the only
nothing can
music
suck from
allowed
here.
to
Yeah.
exist, right?
You copy this. At
Yeah.
the very least, it will be at least good, but not
Yeah.
like, because that's like trap music, right? Like that's part of the problem. Was like,
But I mean, I feel like it's
evolution,
inevitable.
man, it's
Music
deep,
will get
like-
bad because look at, like, you know, let's just take Motown. Look at that era and look how great music was, and now look where it's come from there.
Ooh, yeah. You
So I
do
feel like
have
it's
to put a
inevitable. It's
Temptation.
inevitable
Yeah.
that music will just be
Trashy.
Yeah.
like bad. at
It
some
gets
point.
out, and sometimes you can, tastemakers can set the bar so high that nobody even tries to hit it anymore.
That's very true.
So make it attainable songs.
man, that's good. Sorry, I didn't mean to take away from what we did.
No, that was good.
I feel like that's
That was good. Yeah.
This is
Interesting
valid. We were
Yeah.
wondering what she's been listening to for the thousands of
3,000
years. She was
years.
petrified. A song so good,
fact
it
they had an
preserves
idol
your
that
headphones.
bought her way onto the spaceship.
Yeah, and I feel like a Drake song should have been on her playlist or something. Like just one,
Wow.
though, not like his whole catalog. But
Is it gonna be nice for what?
Nah, it's gonna be Hotline Bling.
yo, Hotline Bling for 3,000 plus years.
I would kill
I'd take it.
myself.
I'm
take it.
I'm
I'll
not
take it.
mad. And then like I wake up and then like everybody's like, tell me something about your past. And then I'm singing Hotline. I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
All right, so let's put a cap on a rating of this show. 1 to 10. I think. What do we say? What do we say the scale was for 10? Like, what was?
10 is like perfection.
Yeah.
Like,
Did we have a show for each of us that was our 10? Like, did we
shoot.
did we
I don't
go
think
that
we
far?
did that, no.
I don't think we did that.
I might have.
That's
Maybe
good.
that's another episode. Maybe we need to think about
That's
that.
a-
What's your 10?
That, yeah, I like
Man, I
that.
ain't gonna give
like
y'all
that
all of
idea,
it at
yeah.
once. Y'all gonna have to keep
Yeah.
listening. That's a good one though.
That is a
But
good
just on
one.
the standard 1 to 10 scale, 10 being like best anime you've ever seen.
That's a good question. I mean,
No, I was gonna say I feel like I keep putting everything in like an 8. I do, because I've been like, I really, 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 really enjoyed this. And I don't feel not transformed by it, but like I don't feel like I don't know. Maybe for me the plumb line is like, would I watch it again? And in this case, I didn't. I still remembered a lot of like really great points from when I watched it. I definitely want to see the second season, but it's not one of those shows where I'm like, I'm going to go back to it over and over and over again just to watch it because I enjoyed it that much, you know? Right. But there's almost nothing up there for me for that. So maybe my standards are too high. I enjoyed it though. I give it an 8.
Okay. Jordan, what were you gonna say?
yeah, I'd say I'd probably give it like an 8 too, just because I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to. Like way more. Like if I would have given it a rating based on like my preconceptions of the show, I probably would have said like a 4, because I just wasn't interested in the concept. But after watching it and being very pleasantly surprised, yeah, I would definitely give it an 8. Because for one, it's got comic relief, it's got danger, it's got action. It like makes science fun and interesting, which to me was impossible. And so, but yeah, so like I thought it was really good. Like it's not like I wouldn't give it a 10, but you know, because I mean, for 10 for me is, I don't know, probably like One Piece or something, just because it's like one of my absolute favorites. But yeah,
So what was the final score?
so final score was 8.
8.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd say
What
8.
about you?
Yeah, I'll go higher. I'll go 8.5.
Wow.
Up in the ante on this one.
You realize 8.5 is a
Getting a little
point and a half
crazy,
from
right.
perfect. Oh.
Yeah, it's so like what I'll say about this show. I think I don't think that. I mean, don't get me wrong. It does have an opportunity to go down, like the second season, if they don't like kind of take it where they need to take it. Which I think all they need to do is just keep making cool inventions and telling me how you made it, and I'm just gonna be like, I'm good. I don't need a whole lot. I don't need your great story arc. We just talked about how like one of the story arcs that took like 4 of the episodes was trash, but we still watched the entire show because of this, how it like interesting the science was, and even some of the characters and their like philosophies and how so I think like 8.5. It can probably go higher. I think like in season 2, like I said, y'all make a Corolla or something. Then I'm like,
That's the height of civilization.
That's how they're going. Right. That's how they're gonna transport those big ass batteries.
then I'm a simp for the show, like for sure. Like, but I think like I don't know, like you said, I had no expectations because I was on Crunchyroll and I was watching some anime and I would see this commercial all the time. Like I'm like, they're really paying for these ads. Like is it that bad that they have to advertise it this way? And so to watch it, be pleasantly surprised and am interested in the second season, I'm like, I gotta give it 8.5.
Wow, that's big. I'll probably give it like a 7. It's like 7.2, something like that. I did not enjoy it, but I don't see myself going back to watch it again. Second season, don't really know. Like I feel like I understand the progress of the show enough to say like they're just gonna keep making stuff until they make something else that's really big at the end of the season, and so yeah, I say it's around a 7.
What if they make a smartphone though? Does that change your rating?
No.
They make an iPhone. You're not like, yo.
Nah.
Oh, iPhone.
Because I would have predicted like, all right, they're gonna keep making stuff until they get to a point where they make something that's supposed to be, fascinating or impressive. So
I will say that I can see it getting boring. Cause like not in the sense like science is always interesting, but it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, but like where's the tension? Where's the pull? Where's the difficulty? Where's the failure? Like it stops being that's the thing with Dragon Ball Z, right? It stops being entertaining when you can't
like this
fail.
never loses. Nobody dies.
Right. And people will try to be like, well, he does fail. He dies a couple of times.
but it doesn't like
But
really
you know
die.
he's gonna come back to life.
Right. Like I think that Senku dying and come back to life. I don't think he could do that ever again.
No. Yeah,
Like,
that's a
or
one
the
time.
I didn't
rating
enjoy
drops.
that to begin with. I was like, this is kind of silly. He just doesn't die.
Well, I think,
and he's back.
I think the interesting part about it was he kind of baited him into attacking him in
Yeah.
that way. Yeah. Because he knew that's the only way he could survive a lethal hit. Like he baited him into saying like, hey, if you hit this point on my neck, like you're gonna win. Like, you're gonna kill me. Like he's like, I got you. That's the only thing I could have survived. Like if he'd have done anything else, if he'd have just like sliced his jugular or like punched him super hard and stopped his heart, like
Then
if
be
he had
like,
done anything
and
else,
end of the show.
right? And that would have been it. So I don't know. I think that was interesting, at least. I think that's my only redeeming factor on him coming back to life was that he kind of baited him into killing him that way.
Yeah.
Killing him, quote unquote.
I mean, for me, I'm just like, if you wanted to kill him, like, if I wouldn't have been like taking suggestions or like,
True.
I should hit you where?
Yeah, that seems like a good
All
idea.
right,
You're
I'll
right,
hit you there.
Yeah.
You know what I
Because
mean?
at the same time, you're like, well, why do you want me to hit you there?
Yeah. And I was like,
Right.
you're too smart
Because
for
he's not
that.
dumb. Like, Scott is
Yeah.
not dumb. Like,
Right.
I don't know. But yeah, I agree.
But yeah, what's next? Are we gonna put another show in our queue for the next time this segment comes around where we talk about a show?
That's a good question.
I mean, I have to watch Attack on Titan.
Yes.
Like I
You
have to watch it.
You have to finish it before.
I have to
the new
finish it
season.
before next month. I have a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm telling you, once you get cruising, you'll fly through.
Yeah.
You'll fly through. The
And
season.
funnily, hilariously, whatever.
Funnily.
Right. I actually started. So the first time I tried, where I was watching Attack on Titan, I was watching in Japanese, and I just started watching this one in the English dub, and did not immediately dislike it.
Voiceovers?
Yeah, the dub.
Quick
Wow,
question.
people hate on Attack on Titan voiceovers. Yeah,
I don't think it's
I
that
haven't watched it in
bad.
English.
Did y'all watch Dr.Stone and dub or subs?
in dub.
Sub.
Subs.
I watch everything dub. I don't even give sub a shot.
I watched like three. I watched 3 episodes in dub, and then when I went on Crunchyroll, it was default to sub. So I was just like, all right, well, I'm not gonna change.
Unless I don't
Yeah.
have a choice. Promise Neverland, I didn't have a choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just quick survey, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm dubbed
Yeah.
till
To
I
be fair,
die.
I watch like 90% of anime and subbed. So
I do too.
That's fair. That's fair.
That being said, dubbed wise, did y'all watch Ghost Stories?
Ghost Stories? No.
You
What's that?
told us about this.
I did. So, because when we were
Halloween.
talking about doing a dub versus sub episode, I was like, we cannot do that episode if y'all have not watched Ghost Stories and the dub version of Ghost Stories.
Why?
Because so the idea is that it did so poorly that when they sold the license, they were kind of like, you can do whatever you want. So the dub actors basically,
So it turned into a gag anime? Kind
yes,
Of?
and
so
it
kind of like
is
MXC?
it is so hilarious. And I don't like scary stuff in a general sense, but I still watched it because it was hilarious. There's a little boy in it where he's talking, but when he gets scared, he's just like, and it's just like, no, you stupid idiot. And you're like, what is going on right now? It's hilarious. And there's one girl who's like weird. She's like weirdly religious. And so like they're in these ghost situations and she's like, we're just going to pray that the Lord Jesus Christ gets rid of this demon for us. And she's like, wait, did you get your mom's witchcraft book? Maybe there's a clue in there. Like, she's like that kind of thing. She's like, you're all going to hell. Like, she's like just super sweet and horrible at the same time. It's great. It's absolutely great.
That sounds fun.
And this makes a case for dub being bad.
Well,
or-
it's one of those things where it's like it's bad good, right?
It's so bad it's good.
It's so
Yeah,
bad
right,
it's
yeah.
good.
right.
So, because you can get into the idea of bad dub in a general sense, because a lot of time, like especially the early anime stuff, I didn't spend a lot of money on that. And it sounds like they didn't spend a lot of money on that. But so it's like I'd rather read.
Yeah, just give us up. Just thanks.
Right.
No, we keep hyping up this subs versus dub.
We should just do it next time.
Well, we will. We got a special guest, but I want to do some research. Like I want to get my stats in order.
Like research for like, what do you mean?
Like some surveys. What do the streets think?
The streets.
Because I think, like, for example, I'll argue that like the reason that anime has become popular is because of dubs,
Yes.
not subs.
You would not be lying.
You know, I think like there's something there. I think this is like a bigger case to make before the argument is brought in front of the podcast.
I mean, I'm ready to jump in the lion's den for dubs because I know people like just in my everyday conversations with people jump on my neck they're like, you watch everything? And I'm like, yes. I don't know I don't know Japanese, so
Right,
I don't
I'm like,
watch
this
it in
don't-
Japanese.
I mean, that's like it's things I'm missing because I don't know Japanese.
Yeah.
You know? But anyways, I'm gonna give y'all another episode. Yeah. Lock and key. We already got like 5 episode ideas out of this one. Man, this was dope. Again, appreciate y'all for watching this. If you haven't watched this, go and watch it. And then
If we haven't spoiled everything.
if we haven't spoiled everything,
right.
even if we have, go watch it and then see
You
if
should-
you are like come to the same
You
conclusion.
should
as
put
us.
like at the beginning of the episode like a spoiler alert that's like, hey, if you haven't watched Dr. Stone and you don't want it to be spoiled,
Don't
watch it
Don't
first
look.
and
Yeah.
then enjoy
Come
the
back
episode.
here later.
And then
Definitely
enjoy
do
the
that.
podcast.
I'll definitely do that. But yeah, this was dope, man. Otherwise, with that, let y'all go. Stay colorful. Peace.
Peace.